ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पाद शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं वाद सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। गुकारस्त्वन्धकारश्च ऋकारस्तन्निव अन्धकारनिरोधित्वात् गुरुरित्यभिधीयते। सदाशिवसमारम्भाम् शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्ताम् वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। नमः श्रीशङ्करानन्द गुरुपादाम्बुजन्मने सविलासमहामोह ग्राहग्रासैककर्मणे। Read the verse from verse 51. इदं गुणक्रिया जाति द्रव्य संबंध वस्तुषु समं तेन स्वरूपस्य सर्वमेतदितीष्यताम्। विकल्पतदभावाभ्याम् असंस्पृष्टात्मवस्तुनि विकल्पितत्वलक्ष्यत्व सम्बन्धाद्यास्तु कल्पिताः। Thus it was shown how we cannot separate what we call the guna, the quality or attribute, from its locus. There are those people who believe that the quality abides in a locus, in a substance. An adjective abides in a substantive, meaning that the substantive and adjective enjoy different degrees. They are separate from each other. Both of them enjoy the same degree of reality. So we discuss the problems of what happens when you try to separate that substance or locus from the adjective. Because devoid of the adjective, when you try to visualize that substance, then you are again confronted with the same problem. Is that substance again possessed of some adjective, or is it without adjective? If it is without adjective by nature, it cannot be possessed the first adjective in the first place. And therefore, if it is with adjective, then again it must have another locus. Because it is with adjective, you try to imagine another locus. And like this, you come into all kinds of problems. So you cannot just separate the two. As Sumitra was asking, all right, suppose there is a lotus, which is blue lotus. There is another lotus, which is red lotus. So is it not that blue is the color of the lotus and red is color of the lotus, and lotus is different from blue and red anyway? I said, fine. Let us take a red lotus and try to imagine a lotus which doesn't have a red color. So what will you imagine? A blue lotus you will imagine. Okay. So you have a blue lotus having red as its attribute. Okay. Now blue lotus, itself blue is an attribute. Now imagine a lotus without that attribute blue. White lotus. Okay. So we have white lotus having blue as the attribute. Now white also is a color. Imagine lotus without color white. Colorless lotus. Now can you visualize colorless? You cannot. And so we will ask you a question. If red lotus is based on blue lotus and a blue lotus is based on some other color, is that color same as red or another one? It says no, it is white. Okay. What is the nature of the lotus which is white, devoid of the white color? It will have some other attribute. And is it the same as red or blue or white? Then you come back. Meaning that when you try to visualize in your mind a substance which is devoid of an adjective, you cannot visualize it. You will have to visualize some other adjective anyway. But devoid of that adjective, what will it be? You cannot, and therefore you cannot separate adjective from substantive, a quality from that which is qualified. Understand? Therefore we say that red also is nothing but the nature of lotus itself. That lotusness includes color also. It can be red color, blue color, whatever it is. But lotusness abides in lotus, well, lotusness and lotus cannot be separated. And lotusness has all the petals and color and all that goes with the lotus is called lotusness. You cannot separate lotusness from lotus, treeness from tree, a clothness from cloth, hotness from pot, and whatever. So that is Swarupa. You see, it is the very nature of the thing. Now, when you come to the ultimate reality, what is the ultimate substance on which everything is an adjective? So, as we said, the cloth is an adjective to substance, cotton, which is an adjective to substance, fiber. And like this, if you stretch it, what is the ultimate substance? It will reach where it has to be without quality. It has to be that which is without attribute. It is to be that which is without adjective. And therefore, ultimate substance has to be that which is without adjective or without attribute. And that is Brahman. Take anything and anything turns out to be an attribute ultimately of Brahman. And so what we call attributes are really superimposed upon the substance which is Brahman. And so, therefore, what is the nature of Brahman? Vikalpa tadabhavabhyam asamsprustam. You cannot say that Brahman is savikalpam or nirvikalpam, because nirvikalpa also is a concept in contrast to savikalpa, and it is not available for any conceptualization. Vikalpitatva lakshatva. You can't raise any vikalpa, you can't raise any question, is not available for even questioning also. When you ask question, there must be some concept in your mind before you want to ask question. When you ask question about anything, there must be some concept in your mind about that thing. Even when you say, I don't believe in God, when you say that word God must create some concept in your mind, and then you say you don't believe in that. You follow? Someone says, I don't believe in God. Okay. That means that he does not believe in God of his concept. If he comes to know what we think of God, perhaps he may believe. But when he says he does not believe in God, there is no God. For that also he has to imagine some God in his mind and then say that it is not. So also when you say, so that, what is the nature of Brahman? Some kind of, is it this type or that type? Is it savikalpa or nirvikalpa? When you ask this question also, some kind of concept has to be there, and therefore Brahman is not available for even vikalpa. It cannot be come within the grasp or the scope of vikalpa or lakshatva or anything, because all of these will qualify Brahman in one way or the other. Meaning is Brahman is that which is devoid of any qualification. And any and every qualification is superimposed upon Brahman, that is called creation. So that is the irreducible principle or the truth that is left when everything else that is negatable is negated. And that is common between Jiva and Ishvara. So when the Shruti teaches us Tattvamasi, that the word, it is this which is the content of that as well as content of thou. Thatness also is superimposed upon this, thou-ness also is superimposed upon this, Jivatva also is superimposed upon that, Ishwaratva also is superimposed upon that, and that which is beyond all the superimpositions is one alone, content of both of them, and that is what is taught by the Shruti. So here the discussion or whatever he has to teach in terms of Tattva Viveka, the discrimination of Tattva, the truth, is concluded. As you said now, he talks of the, he summarizes here what has been said. So the commentator says, Etavata grantha sandarbhena kimuktam bhavati. Alright, grantha sandarbha, by this section of the text, from the section up to this point, etavata, up to this point, grantha means text, sandarbha means context, or sandarbha means section. So, up to this section, up to this point, kimuktam bhavati, what is it that has been described so far? Or what has been discussed so far falls in what category? Iti akanshayam phalitamaha. If this question is there, then what is phalitam? What is the result of it? Is being said in the verse 53. Ittham vakyaistadarthanu sandhanam shravanam bhaved yuktya sambhavitatvanu sandhanam mananantu tata. Ittham vakyaihi tad arthanusandhanam shravanam bhaved. Tad arthanusandhanam. So, contemplating upon or reflecting upon or deliberating upon the meaning of that Mahavakya is called Shravanam. Yuktya sambhavitattva anusandhanam mananam tutat. And what is presented by Shravanam, by Yukti, by the reasoning, verifying that very same thing or confirming that is called Mananam. So here the author defines what is Shravanam and what is Mananam. The Tikakara says Itham means so far, Itham in this manner, Jagataha yadupadanam ityadi grantha jatokta prakarana. Itham means in this manner. In what manner? Jagataha yadupadanam, beginning from the verse 44, ityadi grantha jatokta prakarana. So, in these verses, in these 9 verses, beginning from the verse 44 up to the verse 52. As you see here in the verse 44, the teacher started discussing the aikyam or the identity between Tat and Tvam as taught by the Mahavakya Tattvamasi. So from the verse 44, he started discussing the identity between Jiva and Brahma as taught by this Mahavakya Tattvamasi, that the word. Up to verse 52, that identity or these 9 verses show the vichara or inquiry or reflect contemplation based upon that Mahavakya Tattvamasi. So this is what he says. Jagataha yadupadanam ityadi granthajatokta prakarana vakyaihi. What vakyaihi? Tattvamasyadi vakyaihi. By such statements, this is Vedanta. What is Vedanta? This Mahavakya is Vedanta, really. When we say Vedanto nama Upanishad Pramanam, that Vedanta is really Pramanam, the means of knowledge. For what thing is it means of knowledge? For this, for revealing the identity between Jiva and Brahma. For that, Vedanta or Upanishad is a valid means of knowledge. If Vedanta discusses something else, it discusses the creation and discusses some other vyavaharik thing or mundane thing where we would not really call it pramanam. But in this particular matter of revealing the true nature of me, revealing the true nature of the creation, revealing the true nature of the creator, in that respect it is pramanam, the valid means of knowledge. And this simple one statement, Tat Tvamasi, that thou art, reveals the true nature of me, of the individual, of the Lord and of the creation. True nature of everything is revealed by this one. Tat Tvamasi, that thou art, means you are limitless, and limitless alone is. Whatever there is limitless alone. And that limitless Brahman alone appears as you. That alone appears as He, the Lord. That alone appears as the creation. This is what is said in that simple sentence, Tattvamasi. This is Vedanta. Then why so many, the Upanishads are so long? Because then what is the meaning of that Tat? That must be expounded. What's the meaning of Tvam? That also must be expounded. And so Ishvara Tattva, what is the nature of creation? Who is the creator? That must be expounded in great length. What's the nature of the individual? What is the nature of Atma? That also must be expounded in detail in order for us to understand the identity between the two. So as Swami must have told you, this is the Mukhya Vakya. The Tattvamasi Mahavakya is the principal statement. And rest of the text is Avantar Vakya. They are the Vakya of the text which in fact support this or clarify this particular statement. And so, in fact, there is only Tattvamasyadi Vakya hi tadartham sandhanam tesham Vakyanam arthasya anusandhanam. So, taking those statements of the Upanishad, and what is the meaning of those Upanishad? Anusandhanam. Anusandhana means, again, reflecting upon them, deliberating upon the meaning of the statements of the Upanishad. And what is artha? What is the purport? What is it that these Vakyas convey? Jiva Brahmanoho ekatva lakshanasya arthasya. The artha, the purport of this Mahavakya is Jiva Brahmanoho ekatvam, the identity between Jiva and Brahman. Meaning that what commonly is considered to be Jiva, the individual self, is indeed Brahma, is indeed the limitless. So you are limitless. You are perfect, or you are complete. You are full. This is all that the Upanishad has to say. Now, Anusandhanam, how can it be? So, with the help of the Shruti, with the help of Upanishad, deliberation upon the meaning of these statements, this process is called Shravanam. This is called Vichara, an inquiry into the nature of truth, of individual, truth of the creation, truth of the creator. That inquiry with the help of the Upanishad is called Shravanam. And what do you come to know from Shravanam? This identity, that I am limitless. This is a knowledge that you gain as a result of reflecting upon or deliberating upon the meaning of the statements of the Upanishad. Elsewhere in Vedanta Sara, the Shravanam is defined like this. Shravanam nama Shadvidalingaihi Ashesha Vedantanam Advitiya Vastuni Tatparya Avadharanam. You must have known this Shadvidalinga. Upakramapasamharau Abhyaso Purvata Phalam Arthavado Patticha Lingam Tatparya Nirnaya. You must have heard this verse. Tatparya Nirnaya. When you want to determine the purport or the content of any particular text, any passage or any chapter or the whole text, then we apply certain criteria of analysis to arrive at what is it that this text wants to convey. Upakrama, Upasamhara. What is Upakrama? What is the introduction? How does the text begin? With what proposal it begins? Upasamhara, what is the conclusion? Usually in a well-presented text or in a well-presented even a lecture or a discourse, the introduction and the conclusion would be consistent. Usually the speaker or the author, they always introduce briefly what they are going to state and conclude also with what they had started. Because that is what remains in the mind predominantly. When we go to listen to someone, what he starts with and what he ends with always remain in our mind. And our mind compares whether what he concluded is in keeping with what he introduced. So that becomes one linga. Upakrama upasamharo. Abhyas abhyasaha. Then the theme that you really want to convey is always repeated. You always repeat it again and again. Not as a tautology repetition, but you want to impress it upon the reader or upon the listener. Because that is the most important or primary in your mind. And what is primary in your mind always comes out in one way or the other. You will notice yourself. In our discussion also, suppose you want to make a point, you want to tell something. Again and again, if the person does not understand, different way. Different way you will bring up again and again until the person understands. This is our habit, because we are so eager to see that the other fellow understands what we want him or her to understand. And therefore, again and again we bring up that theme. Sometimes in the same words, sometimes in different words, and so on. This is called abhyasa. Also a very important feature of any presentation. Apurvata, whatever a text presents has to be something unique. There is some uniqueness in everything. What is otherwise available in other texts or other means of knowledge is not presented. So, Upanishad is a pramanam. Pramanam is a valid means of knowledge. What it presents must not be available by other means of knowledge. And this Jiva Brahma Aikyam, that is where the Upanishad has its uniqueness. It presents this theme which is otherwise not available for knowledge by other means of knowledge. Apurvata. Phalam. Then you always tell also, what is the phalam? What's the result? Why should anybody listen to you? Why should anybody read your book? What is that will gain by that? So that result that one will gain also must be presented. Then alone the person will be, that will be also enable us to know what is the subject matter here. Arthavadaha, always praise, whatever the theme that you want to present. And very often ridicule or condemn the opposite of it also. That is called Arthavadaha. Upapatti, and also show the very reasoning, logic or the reasoning behind what you want to convey. Upapatti. So these are called the Shad Linga. So there are 6 signs or the 6 criteria that we employ in analyzing a subject matter or the purport of a given text. And they take Upanishad and employ this linga and arrive at what is the purport of the Upanishad, what is subject matter of Upanishad? Jiva Brahma Aikyam, identity between Jiva and Brahma. And so take different Upanishads and then with this method arrive at this purport of the Upanishad, namely identity between Jiva and Brahma. This ascertainment is called Shravanam. So ascertainment or understanding of the Upanishad, that this is the subject matter of the Upanishad, revealing the identity between Jiva and Brahma, this is called Shravanam. So Jiva Brahmanoho ekatva lakshanasya anusandhanam Shravanam bhave, that is called Shravanam. Then what is Mananam? Then the author says Yuktya Shabdas Parshadayo Vedyaha, from the very third verse. The first 2 verses were the verses of invocation or telling us the subject matter, etc. From the third verse, the topic of the text started. From there itself, the teacher presented the yukti, started with reasoning, showing the possibility of the Jiva Brahma Aikya, showing the possibility of identity between Jiva and Brahma. And who is this Jiva, the individual? So first we started by analyzing this knowledge. Shabdas Parshadaya Vedyaha. So how these Vedyaha, these objects, Vaichitra, Jagare, Prasak, how the objects are all different, and then Samvit, which is different from them, how it is one. And thus, that Samvit is one alone, and Samvit is changeless, and therefore it is Sat and Chit, and it is very Atma. and therefore it is Ananda. And that is how Samvit or Atma is Satchidananda was shown by Yukti. And that is how by Yukti it was shown how Jiva and Brahma are identical. So Yuktya Shabdas Prasadayo Vedyaha Ityadina Para Paratmanoho Evam Yuktya Sambhavit Ekata up to verse 43 Ityantena Grantha Sandarbhena Ukta Prakarana. So by this Grantha Sandarbha, by this section of the text, Sambhavitatva Anusandhanam. Sambhavitatva means Yogyatva. So Yukti does not prove. So by logic or reasoning, we do not prove the Jiva Brahma Aikya, but we point out the reasonability of Jiva Brahma Aikya. So what is valid or what is really authority in revealing the identity of Jiva Brahma is only Upanishad. So what's the scope of reasoning or what's the scope of our logic? To show that what the Upanishad reveals is logical, is reasonable. It does not contradict the logic or reasoning. Otherwise, our intellect will not be able to comprehend it. If Upanishad presents something which just contradicts our basic thinking, then we will not be able to accept it. We will not be able to comprehend it. And so, Anukula Chintanam. Chintanam means Shrutimadas Tarko Anusandhiyatam. With the help of the reasoning which is in keeping with the Shruti, we see that what the Shruti has to say also is reasonable, logical, palatable. So it says, Ukta Prakarana Sambhavitatva Anusandhanam. So whatever the Upanishad says, Upanishad says Jiva is indeed Brahman. Anusandhanam, how can it be? So various doubts will arise. Whatever perception says is different from what the Upanishad says. Upanishad says you are limitless. And what do I say? I am limited. Upanishad, and then also there are so many other philosophies, or schools of philosophy say that Atmas are many and matter is different, spirit is different. So many such schools of thoughts are there. And all of these will create various questions in my mind. All those questions are resolved with the help of reasoning, which reasoning is based on Shruti. Reasoning that is in keeping with the spirit of the Shruti. So that is called Mananam. Mananam tu Shrutasya Advitiya Vastunah Vedantanu Yuktivihi Anavartam Anuchintanam. Anavartam Anuchintanam, constantly reflecting upon Vedanta Anuguna Yuktibihi, with the yuktis or the reasoning which is in keeping with or keeping with Vedanta. So Advitiya Vastunah, constantly deliberating upon, reflecting upon this theme that is revealed by the Shruti, identity. Various doubts which arise in my mind, and resolving those doubts with the help of reasoning until my knowledge becomes free from all the doubts. So this process is called Mananam. Shrutasya arthasya upapadyamanatva jnanam yadasti. Shrutasya arthasya, Shrutya pratipadasya arthasya. That artha or the meaning that is expounded by the Shruti, by the Upanishad. Upapadyamanatva jnanam, that is upapannam, that is reasonable, it is logical. So a conviction on my part that what the Shruti says is reasonable, is logical. I am convinced about it logically also. This yadasti, that particular knowledge is tattu mananam iti uchyate. That kind of reflection is called mananam. Not just any reflection, but reflection of what is revealed by the Shruti. Not just in any way, but by the reasoning which is in keeping with what the Shruti reveals. This is called Mananam. Now, Idanim Nididhyasanamaha, we know that these are the means for knowledge. Atmavare drashtavya, shrutavya, mantavya, nididhyasitavya. Yajnavalkya says to Maitreyi, hey Maitreyi, Atma is drashtav. Atma must be known. Why? Because knowing the self, you as well know everything. then nothing remains to be known. So knowing the self, you know everything. Whatever is to be known is known. Whatever is to be heard is as well heard. Whatever is to be thought of is as well as thought of when you know the self. Really suggests, therefore, Atma vari drashtavya. Atma must be known, seen. How? Shrotavya, mantavya, nidhyasitavya. You must subject yourself to vichara shravanam and then carry out mananam, and ultimately to gain abidance in the knowledge, nididhyasanam. So the third means namely nididhyasanam. Not third really, all the three form one. The third aspect of that is described in the verse 54. ताभ्याम निर्विचिकित्सेर्थे चेतसस्थापितस्य यत् एकतानत्वमेतद्धि निदिध्यासनमुच्यते. ताभ्याम निर्विचिकित्से अर्थे. Tabhyam Shravana Mananabhyam. By Shravana and Manana, when the significance or the meaning of what the Vedanta says has become very clear, free from any kind of doubts and vagueness, then Arthe, Tasmin Arthe, in that Artha, Chetasasah Sthapisasya Yat Ekatanatvam. When the mind abides in that knowledge. So it is a habitual error by which the mind again and again gets off from that, and so making the mind abide in that very knowledge which you gain as a result of Shravanam and Mananam, Ekatanatvam, Etadhi Nididhyasanam Uchyate. This is called Nididhyasanam, or what is normally called here contemplation. Nididhyasanam is a technical word which means this. Which is explained by the Tikakara here, Tabhyam Shravana Mananabhyam Nirvichikitse Nirgata Vichikitsa Samshayaha Yasmadasau Nirvichikitsaha Tasmin Arthe. Tasmin means Nirvichikitse. Vichikitsa means doubt. Nirvichikitsa means that Nirvichikitsaha means that which is free from doubt. Nirgata Vichikitsa meaning Samshayaha Yasmadasau Nirvichikitsaha. So that from which all doubts are removed. So far, so long we must continue to reflect upon what we have heard. Until whatever doubts or questions which arise in our mind, all of them are satisfactorily resolved. They are resolved to the satisfaction of the intellect. So long we must carry out the reflection. If doubt is there, then the intellect will not be able to settle. Because the moment you think of something, the intellect raises a question and there is a disturbance in the mind. Samshaya or doubt always creates a disturbance. So it's necessary that obstacle must be removed. And what else creates a disturbance? What we call Dehatma Buddhi. That so far taking the body as I. It's a habitual error. Habitually I have been taking the body as I. And again that habit catches hold of me. I forget myself. Swami, I know I must do this. I know that I should not get angry. But I get angry anyway. Later on I realize. I know I should not have behaved like this. I know I should not have spoken like this. I know I should not have done this. But even then, I find myself doing it. I resolve on the New Year day, from now I am not going to get angry. And that very resolve makes him angry, And so, how come in spite, I know that I should not be angry. I know all the, anger is bad. I know. It's in every respect harmful to me and to others also. So I don't want anger. And even then, I find myself getting angry. This is called habitual error. And there therefore remains a distance between what we like to do and what we actually do. What we believe or what we know and what we actually are. There is always a gap. Now that gap can be due to two things. Either what I believe is not clear to me and therefore in a given situation I am not able to see what it means. I must speak truth, but in a given situation if I do not know what truth means, then also I may not be able to follow it. Or I know what truth is, but still I am not able to speak because I forget. Because of my habit, the past habit, I again go back into the old track and as though forget. So the knowledge that I have does not become available in practice because at that time the mind is preoccupied with something and therefore that knowledge of viveka, the wisdom, does not have an opportunity to manifest then. So what should we do? We have to learn to eliminate that habit. That requires abhyasa. Abhyasena kaunteya vairagyena cha gruhyate. Asamshayam mahabaho mano durnigraham chalam. Arjuna asked this question in the Bhagavad Gita. Chanchalam himanah Krishna pramati balavadridam. O Lord, my mind is restless and again very obstinate and very strong. Is restless, goes away where I don't want it to go, and so obstinate that it just goes where I do not want it to go. Obstinate. Balavat, and it is so powerful that even if I want to bring it back, it doesn't come. Not only it doesn't come, it drags me there. Drudham. This is how my mind is. So what should I do? To control this mind is even more difficult than controlling the air. Lord, says yes. He concurs with this. You are right. Because he has created his mind, so he knows better, I think, So he says, yes, Asamshayam Mahabahu. Hey Mahabahu. Mahabahu means one having long arms, a very powerful person. But when it comes to mind, that Mahabahu is powerless, Asamshayam, I realize that there is no doubt at all. Manaha durnigraham chalam. That mind is durnigraham, extremely difficult to control. Extremely difficult to master. Chalam is chalam, restless. And also very obstinate. Then how do we bring it under control? How do we master it? Abhyasena kaunteya vairagyena cha gruhyate. Abhyasa, repeated practice, and vairagya, a dispassion for everything else. Only total commitment to this thing at the exclusion of others, and again repeating. This is how the mind will be able to, we will be able to establish or a new channel. Right now the mind is drawn by its own samskaras, and we have to create this new powerful samskara. When this samskara becomes more powerful than other samskaras, then alone the mind will be able to abide in this. And to create samskara, you keep on repeating. This is the method. To create any samskara, anything you want to do, repeat. Again, Ramaha Ramo Ramaha, Ramaha Ramo Ramaha, Ramaha Ramo Ramaha. This is, Abhyasa means repetition. Babhuva, bhu. Then repetition. Babhuva. When it is remote past, then there is a repetition of that word. Bhu, bhuva, bhavuva, babhuva. This is how. That's called abhyasa in grammar also. When you repeat. So here also abhyasa. Repeat the same thing again and again. It can become brainwashing if that knowledge is not clear, understand. This abhyasa comes after shravana and manana, meaning that you know what you are doing. Not that you simply take something and blindly repeat. So repetition and vairagya. Vairagya also means knowledge. So that is a way to attain an abiding mind. To create new tendencies or samskaras which should be more powerful than the old samskaras. Until then, this is to be done. So that is called nididhyasanam, and ultimately ekatanatvam. That mind becomes single pointed in whatever you want it to be engaged. So in that case, that is called dhyanam, that is called meditation. That's what the Tikakara explains here. So tabhyam shravana mananabhyam nirvichikitse. As Swami was saying, the habitual error. When you are in the United States, Then when you sit in the car, when somebody gives you, and that happened to me right away. So here there is left-hand drive and you go on the right-hand door. Now what happened? I came from India, from Bombay. I got down to New York and this boy had come to pick me up. I by habit went to the left side, He says, Swamiji, here now you are in New York and therefore on this side. When I go back there again this problem arises, This is called habit, And so every time the car comes, I do, wait a minute, where am I? Am I in Bombay or New York? In left-hand drive or right-hand drive, If left-hand drive, I should go on right-hand drive. Then what is left-hand drive? That also becomes a problem sometimes, But anyway, so a lot of deliberations to go on before I decide to go on one side. And so that samskara, that habit becomes very strong. And we are habitual people and mechanical people. So this mechanicalness, and the whole thing has become so mechanical. I am the body, that idea, dehata buddhi has become so rooted. So the mechanicalness can only be overcome by alertness. Nididhyasana means alertness. Alertly owning up the knowledge that you have anything. If you want to really put something into practice, alertness is the name of the game. So all sadhanam is called savadhani, they say. What is sadhanam? What is sadhanam in spiritual practice is what? Savadhani, being alert about what you want to do. You decided to speak truth, be alert. You decided that you are going to do this from now on, be alert. If you are not alert, the mind will again get back into the old channels. And long before you realize, damage is done. So nididhyasana can also be called alertness. And thus we can always remain alert. Suppose you are doing karma, action. Then I must be alert. This action must be performed as an offering to the Lord. Karma yoga. Yat karoshi, yad ashnasi, yad juhoshi, yad dadasi, yat tapasyasi, tat kurushva madarpanam. Lord says, whatever you do, offer to me. I'm eating food. Wait a minute. This must be offered to the Lord. I'm going to do this, I perform some action. I must remember it should be offered to the Lord. Alertness. So it's called apramattaha. Pramada means inadvertence. Apramadaha, alertness. So nididhyasana also is a kind of alertness. So nirvichikitse arthe, that artha or the meaning or the purport which is free from the knowledge, which is free from any doubt, तस्मिन् अर्थे विषये स्थापितस्य धारणावतः चेतसः देश संबंधः चित्तस्य धारणा यदि पतंजलिना उक्तत्वात् यत् एकतानत्वम् एकाकार वृत्ति प्रवाहवत्वम् एतद् निदिध्यासनमुच्यते. Now, in Yoga Shastra, this whole process of concentration is recognized to take place in 3 stages. First is called dharana, then dhyanam, and samadhi. So this is the Ashtanga Yoga. The yoga, namely Samadhi Yoga, consisting of 8 steps. Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, Pratyahara, these 5. Dharana, Dhyana, and Samadhi. So Yama and Niyama pertain to the conduct. Asana, Pranayama pertain to the body and the prana. Pratyahara pertains to the withdrawal of the senses. Then comes the mental activity. After all this comes the effort for meditation. Dharana means concentration. Dhyanam means meditation. And Samadhi means absorption. Nididhyasanam is comparable to Dhyanam, which is the 7th step. Remember, So here we start from the day 1 meditation, But then before that, a lot of discipline must have gone. Then alone we find it a very fruitful thing. Otherwise meditation becomes very frustrating thing because the earlier preparations are not there. Anyway, so what is dharana? He defines here. Desha sambandha chittasya dharana. What is concentration? Chittasya desha sambandha. Chittasya of the mind, desha sambandha, concentrating on a particular desha or a particular place or a particular object. Therefore, in Yoga Shastra also they ask you to concentrate on the Mooladhara, on the navel, on different spots in the body. Sometimes I ask you to concentrate between the two eyebrows. So, desha sambandha. When chitta or the mind is focused or concentrated on a particular place or a particular spot or a particular object, it can be a form also, it can be a symbol also. That would be called dharana, concentration. Iti Patanjalina uktatvad dharanavatah chetasah, of the mind which has this discipline of dharana. I mean the mind which has a discipline of or ability of concentration at a given place. For such a mind, ekatanatvam yad ekatanatvam ekakara vritti pravahavatvam etad nididhyasanam uchyate. So, ekakara vritti pravahatvam, same kind of vritti or same kind of thought continues to flow. It is also called sajatiya vritti pravaha. Vritti means a thought, pravaha means a flow. Sajatiya vritti pravaha, the flow of similar thoughts. So the same thought flows constantly. Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. Whatever it is, that thought continues to flow, then it is called dhyanam. So, ekakara vritti pravahavatvam etad nididhyasanam uchyate. In this case, the mind abides where? In Atma. So, Atmakara vritti pravaha. When what's the nature of the thought? The thought here in fact has its object of knowledge what? Atma. So vritti of the thought, which has Atma as the object of knowledge, when that Aham Brahma, this vritti I am Brahman, when that continuously flows in the mind, that would be called nididhyasanam. No doubt there is interruption. That's why it is called meditation, because there is interruption. But then Ajyadharaya Srotasasamam Sarala Chintanam Viralatah Param. As Ramana Maharshi says, Ajyadharaya Srotasasamam, like Ajyadhara, like the flow of ghee. When you pour that ghee from one vessel to the other, how it pours continuously without break. That is how also when the mind's flow is continuous without break, Srotasasamam, or compared to the srota or the pravaha or the flow of water, stream of water, like a river. How the river also continuously flows without a break, so also the mind continuously flows, and river flows towards its objective, ocean, and so also the mind continuously flows towards its objective. That continuous unbroken flow we call dhyanam or nididhyasanam. एतद् ही प्रसिद्धं योगशास्त्रे तत्र प्रत्ययिकतानता ध्यानम्. Tatra means what? Dhye vishaye. In that in which you want to concentrate, tatra. Pratyaya ekatanta. Pratyaya means a vritti or a thought. Ekatanta, then the constant flow of the same kind of thought with reference to the object of meditation is called dhyanam. So that is what is there in nididhyasanam also. This knowledge I have, aham brahma, I am limitless. Which knowledge I have gained during shravanam. Which knowledge also has been made free from the doubts by mananam. So that knowledge is clear. But still that knowledge is subject to being overwhelmed by the habitual error of taking myself to the body. And so just as that beggar has to remember, I am rich man, I am rich man, I am rich man. Beggar became rich overnight because he won a lottery. He won millions of rupees in lottery. Overnight became a rich man. And obviously, this is new riches, and there is a big house, palatial house, and big car, and a chauffeur, and all kinds of things, And as Swami would say, he keeps the car keys in his hand, and makes a sound so everybody knows that he is having a car. And he has certain, his clothes and everything else, also very expensive. So everybody knows that he is a rich man, except he has his own doubts, He forgets every now and then. That's the problem. So once when he goes for a darshan in a temple, he's driven there. You see, in Bombay there is a temple called Mahalakshmi. Temple of. Now these temples are in narrow lanes. You can't take your car all the way to the temple. So you have to park your car outside. You must get down and then you have to walk up to reach that temple. And so this man also went down. The chauffeur is there. He went down and then went to the temple. And very customary in that temple also that many people offer food, particularly to the beggars and so on. And so sometimes they bring laddu, things like that, and offer to the beggars. So this man also went for darshan. He's coming out and he saw a big crowd there. And somebody, a big basket of the laddus. So somebody is standing there, on a platform, and these fellows are all crowded up there and is distributing that. Who will get this? The one who is smart will always get it first. And this fellow, before he even realized, he did not know what happened and when it happened. But he was found one laddu in his hand, that's all. He was returning from the temple and then he found a laddu in his hand. He did not know, he was so happy, he was triumphant. So he was chewing up that laddu and returning to the car. He sat down in the car and the chauffeur looked back at him. Oh! Then he realized what all had happened, But he was clever, he says, "Here I brought prasad for you, So anyway, but this is how the habitual error, it takes over you. And so you must remember, Dhanvanaham, I am rich. And that has to overcome ultimately the old samskara of I am a beggar. So abhyasa, this is called nididhyasanam, is repeated practice. And that is also necessary to do. You can't wait, when I will get clear knowledge by Shravanam and Mananam, then I'll start that. You can't. You will start from day one, And so there must be a time assigned for the concentration of the mind. Because it won't be possible to deal with the mind just at any time you want. It requires a pretty long practice, and therefore that's the reason why they give you japa or they will give you some kind of meditation so that we repeat that name in our mind or we concentrate our mind in a particular form or whatever is according to one's own taste and disposition. But something is to be done so that we develop the ability to bring back our mind from its preoccupation and be able to direct our mind or concentrate it where we want to concentrate. That ability is absolutely necessary, and that also becomes a part of this whole package of Vedanta. In that way, when we have developed that ability, then it will come very handy. If you learn computer, etc. in the early stage, then it comes very handy later on, Then when you require, then when you pull out a report, now you start learning computer, that won't work, because that will take 6 months. So if you had the training to begin with, and then when it is similarly also, this is the ability that we have to acquire. Tatra pratyaya ekatanata dhyanam. Tatra means dhye vishaya, in an object of meditation. Ekatanata is the flow of this pratyaya, the flow of the same thought is called dhyanam. Okay. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutrabhashya Krutau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah. ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ॐ।